Helicopters continue to mentally torture the city of Genova. The police drive around the streets with machine guns out of their windows. People shout assassini after them. I came because the world was out of order, so I believe. If the world was out of order last week, then what is it now?
And they were all standing outside and chanting assassini, and shouting at the police, and the whole world is watching. But it was just, the amount of stretchers that came out was just horrific. Like, no people came out to start with, it was just people coming out on stretchers, nobody was walking out.
Then, as from out of the blue, Carabinieri lines up and starts shooting tear gas straight at the journalist group and the march behind us.
These wooden bats make a very strange noise.
Every 5-10 minutes I see the whole situation of the shot at my head.
I was
and
pissing
think,
in my pants.
You could have been dead.
And this policeman came and he just beat me up.
Yeah, I saw one girl came out on a stretcher and she was inside her sleeping bag. Maybe she never even got out of the sleeping bag in the first place. Maybe she was just lying there asleep and they just came in and beat people or trampled on you.
And beat me up. And then he went away. And then another policeman and that happened like that with 12 policemen. There was 12 policemen, one after the other, who went and beat him up while he was lying on the ground.
Then out of the corner of my eye, I see one of the Carabinieri moving. I turn, I look at him straight in the eyes from a distance, about 20-25 meters. And then he aims directly at my head, and he pulls the trigger of his tear gas grenade gun. He shoots me.
Già solo l'impatto, comunque ci metti la quantità, il discorso polizia, carabinieri, quindi forze dell'ordine, una città come Genova è stata veramente stravolta.
Per me io la farei a Roma, cioè a Roma proprio c'è dentro il Vaticano, sai? Così si salta anche il Papa.
Il Vaticano era un posto adatto
Sì.
per fare i giochi.
Perché no, ci cambiano tutto qua, questo momento qua, c'è quelli che lavorano, quelli giorni di chi è che li paga se non lavorano? C'è il Berlusconi? No, perché Berlusconi no, il Papa neanche, Bush neanche, e per questi 3 giorni noi ci siamo rovinati, perché non possiamo lavorare, i soldi niente, e non va bene. Secondo me, e poi io secondo me questo G8 non deve esistere neanche, perché c'è tanti paesi che muoiono di fame e loro vengono a fare il G8, perché è una cosa stupida secondo me, basta.
Ho sentito il dovere di scendere, giovane, io sono su alto, vedo, ho visto tutto.
Molta amarezza da cittadino democratico e prete cattolico. Con molta amarezza dobbiamo constatare che le nostre previsioni erano giuste. Ormai la città è veramente completamente blindata. Questa mappa me l'ha data più di un mese fa un giornalista del New York Times, più di un mese fa, che aveva ricevuto dalla questura centrale, dall'autorità di pubblica sicurezza, la zona rossa e la zona gialla. In quest'ultimo periodo, in quest'ultimo mese soprattutto, i vari incontri col Ministero degli Interni, col capo della polizia, dal Genoa Social Forum, ha ottenuto pochissimo, anzi alcune promesse che era riuscito a strappare da questi giorni sono completamente annullate e non siamo riusciti a frenarlo. Si è creata in città una psicosi collettiva di paura, di terrore, che è andata a colpire quindi i bar, i ristoranti, i negozianti, e allora esplicitamente la polizia ha consigliato i cittadini a lasciare la città, cioè un clima veramente, diremo, proprio irrespirabile a questo punto.
Molto spaventati.
Generale, sì, sì.
Il grosso comunque dei giornalisti sono spaventati
sono
perché non sanno di preciso a cosa vanno incontro, nel senso si sa e non si sa, però è molto, non è molto chiara la cosa, la gente non sa di preciso cosa succederà. Quindi anche la gente che non abita in centro, che magari abita in periferia, però ha paura di cortei, ha paura...
Però questa paura perché?
Poi dipende.
Perché non sai a cosa vai incontro.
My name is Eva and I come from Rome. I came with a few people to organize the arrival of a big group, 3,000 people at least, coming from my hometown. We're all very happy that in Rome that we managed to, everyone to go beyond your single identity and to build up something in common, which is really some sort of political laboratory in some kind, because we all come from our own experiences, but we want to share this experience of Genova together, from social centers, even from NGOs, even from groups that worked in the territory and local groups of all sorts, and a few political parties actually as well. And just all together to work for the protest in Genova, and actually all together we will be on the siege day, we will be part of the civil disobedience blocks.
Si va davanti a 8 grandi che vengono a Genova per una sfida, per migliorare la loro guerra contro il bene dell'umanità, e quindi è scattata una disobbedienza civile che non vuol dire violenza.
The disobedience, those who wish to defy the G8 by direct action in the form of civil disobedience, which is a non-offensive confrontative action.
Quindi il rispetto di chi fa digiuno e preghiera, dei miei carissimi fratelli e sorelle missionarie che saranno dalla parte di Levan, rispetto, però in questa lotta bisogna lasciare veramente questo spirito di creatività, di organizzazione, perché per ipotesi venissero a Genova 100.000, e questo le forze, la questura lo sa, 95.000 vengono a Genova proprio per una dimostrazione pacifica, per esplicare un loro diritto, di fronte veramente a una terra che veramente soffre terribilmente.
Vestita di rosso che ballava col mio papà e c'era mia mamma.
Organized by this artist over there, and he's designed it all, and I just asked if I could give a hand, because that's what it's all about, just be there and participate.
In ginocchio che chiedevano pietà e c'era i fascisti vestiti da prete che scappavano di qua e di là e c'era i fascisti vestiti da prete che scappavano di qua e di là. Se non ci ammazza i crucchi, se non ci ammazza i bricchi, tra i bricchi ed i crepacci e il vento di Marenca. Se non ci ammazza i crucchi, se non ci ammazza i bricchi, quando saremo vecchi ne avremo da raccontare.
Reality nowadays is that the big owner of economy are the real people who have a government of the world. Political people is just a kind of representative of this interest. So you may silly men like Bush, George W. Bush, who becomes president of the most important and the most powerful place of the world and doesn't understand anything.
Going on is that we are trying to get goods that are luxury goods for us. For example, to get good beautiful flowers, exotic flowers, bananas, which is what I'm just painting here, and goods that are not necessary to our lives and to which costs, and these costs are not incurred by us, but onto people in the third world countries in the south of the hemisphere.
Della rossa bandiera, infame società, dovrai pagare.
Information about what's going on as a response to globalization, what alternatives are there, and what are the economic profiles that we can develop, because I'm not very knowledgeable about that and I want to learn a bit about it and give any impulse that I can bring. I have heard about the Tobin tax, for example, which is, I think, a method by which we could improve world wealth and not only the wealth of the few.
Colore che sta songa, tutta l'Italia fa tu, chi non tiene una fatica, chi non tiene manca a casa, tanta uomo che tutta non so fide che campa, parla da qualche speranza, colorammo tutto il mondo, quando unirammo l'uata esce fuori la libertà, bianca, rossa, gialla, nera, nera, rossa, gialla e blu, colore che sta songa, tutta l'Italia fa il tu.
What can you think? I don't know. It's the demonstration really of their weakness, I believe. I mean, they have to occupy in a military sense an historical town of this country, which is supposed to be a democratic and anti-fascist country. For 8 people to sit down around the table and talk, it's just, I mean, it's not even a scandal. It's just like, it's just a demonstration of how weak they are in front of, people, yeah. The trains, okay, all together in Italy, so we're only talking of the national level, there will be 25 trains that will be arriving between Wednesday the 18th and Friday the 20th, or on Saturday morning. So anyway, but by the 21st we will be having 25 trains, so at least 25,000 people arriving in Genova.
Noi in città abbiamo 2 stazioni ferroviarie, una più a ponente e una più a levante della stessa città. Anche la stazione ferroviaria di Brignole, che in un primo tempo si era riusciti a ottenere come una concessione, è stato dichiarato che sarà blindata, che sarà chiusa con permessi particolari.
The station of Brignole is going to be closed, which means that very likely there is going to be a crazy situation of people that arrive just in the very outskirts of the city, and then from there they must move with buses, with special buses. But I mean, a special bus can take, say, 50 or 100 persons. Now guess when from Rome we have the first 3,000 arriving on Wednesday evening, and I don't know, 3,000 people in special buses. Really, I mean, something very dangerous that they're doing, which is on one hand militarize the city, on the other create a chaotic situation in which you say you will let people come, but then you don't do anything to make it possible, or actually do anything you can to make it impossible.
We're here working in Genova with this group called the Living Theater. The Living Theater is a group now more than 50 years old that started in America. It's a group molto international that we work mostly in Italy and New York right now. And we're here doing a new play. It's called Resistance Today, or Resistance Now. And it's an exploration of how to create a non-violent resistance. We are pacifists, we are anarchists, and we believe that any violence in any form can serve no end. We want to, as it were, change the world completely in a pacifist way. Three basic questions about this question of violence. One is, what can we do about the violence inside each one of us, my violence individually that I have? Second, what can we do about the violence of our friends, our comrades? For example, the people here in Genova who feel that violence is necessary against the G8 organization. And thirdly, what can we do against the violence of the G8 itself, of the 8 industrial powers who often use violence, who are more or less in control of the system, which is a violent system. We can have a clean technology, you know. I think globalization, creating a world consciousness of peace and happiness and equality, this is good. You know, we can take advantage of the technology. The problem is this technology which can end hunger, this technology which can end disease, this technology which can maybe even end death. You know, maybe we can live forever. I don't know if I want to, but you know, we have the technology. Why can't we solve the problem? Well, the other problem of this globalization is the globalization of capital, of capitalism, which is a system for profits, which has no scruples. It only understands profit. It's not irrational. It's not rational. It's completely focused on profits. Whatever it has to do to make more profits, it will do. It will exploit children.
Because it is only when you protest, it is only when you say no to injustice that justice can come. And so I am part of that process of trying to make it possible for a new world order to be established, a world where there is justice, there's equity, there is protection of the environment, and the protection of all of humanity. And I don't think the agenda that the G8 is preaching can bring that about. Because the G8, as you know, is a gathering of the privileged. It's a gathering of a few. It is a gathering of those who want to decide for us how we live our lives. And that gathering is a wrong gathering, and that gathering must be stopped.
Dal fatto che è stato vietato a Genova per accogliere il G8, è stata vietata l'esposizione di biancheria intima perché dicono che deturpi l'ambiente. Noi riteniamo che invece questa sia la situazione in cui i G8 hanno ridotto Genova e tutte le altre città. Siamo veramente in mutande, come potete ben vedere. Allora questo credo che sia un significato molto chiaro di cosa intendiamo noi
per il G8, per cui riteniamo che ridurre Genova nelle condizioni in cui è stata ridotta per accogliere gli 8 grandi della terra, credo che significativo sia questo striscione che parla da sé.
I was involved yesterday. We were in the street trying to march in solidarity with migrant workers and also possibly send a message to corporations who try to encourage slave labor in production and all the issues associated with terrible pay for workers and injustices of the system. That our march was a significant one, and we marched yesterday peacefully, non-violently, very gloriously.
A mio avviso, e penso, io sono prete cattolico, però io da cattolico, anche se non ero ancora prete, per esempio io ho partecipato alla resistenza armata dal 43, 44, 45, tanto per dire, ed eravamo benedetti dai nostri vescovi. A parte questo, ma per tanti partecipanti la non violenza, per tanti lo è proprio un impegno, quasi un dogma, una conseguenza della propria religione, mentre per tanti non è un dogma.
No, I think there's going to be a lot of violence by the police, and I think there's going to be a lot of repression, and that's what worries us, what's worrying me, what's worrying everyone. In this sense, we are totally refusing this ridiculous story of the movement being the violent or the violence emergency around the world, because there's people just expressing and, I mean, fighting the system, but fighting the system under a political point of view. So, of course, we are very, very, very worried by the violence of the public order forces.
Ich habe halt ein paar Mal darüber nachgedacht, ob ich Lust habe, zu sowas hinzugehen, weil es ist ja eine gewisse Gefahrensituation, die ich mich halt aussetze, aber im Grunde genommen ist halt ständig eine Bedrohung für mein Leben da. So halt, wenn ich halt auf der Straße ein Kleid anziehe, ist die Bedrohung halt da, dass ich verprügelt werde. So. Wenn ich halt nicht arbeite, ist die Bedrohung da, dass ich halt irgendwie aus meiner Wohnung fliege oder so. Und das sind halt Situationen, wo ich halt meine Bedrohung, ja, wo ich jetzt konkret ausgesetzt bin, die halt spüren kann. So. Aber das muss ich halt auch machen, um einfach das zu verändern. So.
with loving leaders, then that's a different story. But this G8 is not about love. It's about control. It's about having power over. It's about killing people at the end of the day. And we need loving leadership on this planet. We need honest leaders. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is the revolution, you know. Every time it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Every demonstration is getting bigger.
With the world as they try to give it to us and tell us this is how we're going to live and this is how it's going to be, and it's these 8 people that are making the decision for the whole world, not even representing 0.001% of the people, you know. It's just the rich people up there. For everybody to change in their head, for every single person in the world to make the decision for themselves that they want, how they want the world to be, and then they'll stop thinking they need to buy things to be happy, to use petroleum to get around, and the world will be fun, you know.
Here with the Nephridium group of Israelis and Palestinians, it's a group against anti-occupation, it's criticizing the G8 agenda and telling them, instead of doing what you do now, please consider doing an embargo on Israel. Don't sell any weapons to them, don't buy any weapons to them, because the Israeli weapon industry is one of the biggest industries. That's it. I hope that if this embargo will succeed, there will be pressure in Israel and the occupation will stop. So the Palestinians will have much better life, and so do we.
It's us that has to change. We have to decide how we want to live. We want to live with TVs, okay. We want to live with computers, okay. We want to live with cars, okay. Then we have to decide how we can change the system. We don't want to use fossil fuel anymore, then stop using the car. We don't want to use child labor from Indonesia, don't buy Nike, you know. These are easy ideas that people are already doing, but the people in the regular Joe in the street, maybe they don't realize this. These are the ideas we should be pushing forward. And as soon as we start battling the police and throwing Molotov cocktails and stones, we can't talk about that anymore, because the people, the guy in the street, oh, these guys are crazy. They're throwing rocks at the police. I like the police. I need the police, because the people think they need the police against the violence, right? So we do away with the violence, we don't need the police.
Gewalt ist nicht immer destruktiv, so. Es gibt Gegengewalt, die ist nicht destruktiv. Das ist Gewalt, die sich halt gegen was Vernichtendes richtet, so. Also ich glaube, dass es legitim und sinnvoll ist, sich zu wehren, wenn ich angegriffen werde. Wenn ich halt angegriffen werde, ist es nicht destruktiv, mich dagegen zu wehren, sondern befreiend.
Quella realtà oggettiva di quel momento, di quel luogo. Non so, ci sono di quelli che se un gruppo di poliziotti ti vengono incontro, come è già successo, alcuni si fermano e alzano le mani e altri invece si difendono.
was in Kosovo, he was in Pristina in 1999 and in 2000. I stayed there nearly 1 year. And I've never seen so many people in arms. I've never seen so many police and army, even in a place where there was a war. And this just because when poor people are fighting, everybody simply looks another place, and instead here, just for 8 powerful people, we have all the police in the world in Genova, and I don't like this.
You can do it. For what?
Prendi la scala.
Out into the street once more, this time at the day when the G8 is starting, and the peaceful started well, beautifully too, with banners, with puppets, with songs, with dances. You can hear the songs at the background. The songs are still going on, but of course there are also those who felt that this strategy may not be able to send the message, and those people are represented in the Italian state, and they are the police force. In this square, an hour and a half ago, there was a confrontation. The confrontation was one-sided because the Italian state deployed their maximum terrorist police force and they attacked us. You can see my hands. You know, we were waving peacefully. Hey, look here, we are here for peace. But the Italian police will not know that. They don't want to recognize whether you are protesting peacefully or you are protesting violently. As far as they are concerned, every protester must be crushed. And they did just that. The tear gas, you can still feel it in the air.
The police was beating some of us. They are looking for something that must happen in Genoa today. And obviously it's very easy to make it happen when so many people are gathering together and in a different way. I think this movement, the peace movement, is the majority. And we want to try and stay and see what happens.
Le cui ciminiere sognano e graffiano nella nebbia. Moloch, le cui ciminiere antenne incoronano le città. Moloch, le cui amore petrolio senza fine. Moloch, la cui anima è di città e bianche. Moloch, la cui povertà è lo specchio del genio. Moloch, la cui sorte è una nuvola idrogeno sessuale. Moloch, la cui nome è la mente.
You know, we can't use the darkness to bring light to the darkness. We have to bring light to the darkness. You can't use violence to change violence. You have to use our imagination. We have a line in the play. Whoever uses violence against his enemy will turn and use violence against his own people. It's a line from Bertolt Brecht. And I believe this, you know, if you have violence in yourself and you want to go beat somebody up, the person that you beat up is going to be violent against you. It's just a cycle of vengeance that's continuing.
I think that in this movement against the negative aspects of globalization, I think that everyone is a leader. There is no single person you could say is leading the movement. Every single person you find here in the street singing and dancing, every single person holding a placard, you know, waving and fluttering it in the wind, every individual floating balloons and blowing whistle, I can tell you, is a leader in this movement. I think the characteristics to understand the leaders of the movement is the ability to say no to injustice, no to the current economic order that encourages the transnational corporation to gain control of governments, to gain control of the way we live our lives, to determine where we go and how we go, to determine who we see, and soon they will determine who we make love to. You know, that is exactly what is happening now.
And they have made this thing of the blacklist, which is not the first time. We had a blacklist in Prague, and it's again something that is totally unacceptable. I mean, we're talking of the democratic Europe with this great democratic, supposed democratic tradition. And in the year 2001, there appears a blacklist of activists, which are people who are just, working every day to make things go better in this world, and end up being labeled as dangerous criminals and undesired people. This is really going back to some sort of regime. It is definitely going back to some sort of regime, the blacklist of French people not allowed to cross the border because they are undesired by the Italian government, because they are activists, political activists.
Then we start getting ready and we move. So we still have a bit of time. It's going to be a long day. So eat, get some rest, start getting organized, and then at the right moment we will tell you when we're about to move.
Well, normally I get the shit clobbered out of me, so I thought I'd wear a bit of this, and then maybe this time I'll get slightly less injured. And basically my main ambition for the day is to stroll up to the yacht and ask George Bush to kindly fuck off and stop fucking my planet up, because at the moment I don't want to have any kids. I actually want to have loads of kids, but what, am I going to bring him into a world like this? Where he's going around investing fucking billions in killing people and getting even more of a drive for fucking the whole planet up. No, I can't do that. So I'm going to ask him very kindly to fuck off and stop fucking everything up. And that's it really, that's all I'm interested in doing today. But yeah, no, I'm fucking scared shitless basically, but it's got to be done. You know what I mean? We can't sit around on our asses all day talking about what we're going to do and recycling plastic bottles, which is a good thing to do, recycling that.
They are prepared for the impact. You know, they're prepared to be beaten up. It's a mutation of the Gandhian approach. You know, like, okay, we're not going to be violent, but we're going to armor our bodies so that we don't get beaten to death. At least not immediately.
Carried on a non-offensive, confrontative and direct action to get into the red zone. We will be using only instruments and tools to protect ourselves, to protect our bodies, and we will do it collectively. We ask everyone to be part of this one and unique body. We ask everyone to coordinate with us. We ask everyone not to have any sort of individual attitude that could put this action in risk. So please, again, the front part of the action is a structured part. There are coordinated groups that are supposed to be there. All the others, all the individuals, please move a bit backwards. Let us all go together and invade the red zone and keep the G8 out of this town.
It's a pretty fuck-off big fence. It's a good fence, but with a bit of luck they'll get through it. But what are we going to do? All we can do is make a stand. Basically people are doing this because it's better than sitting around doing nothing, but the fact is those guys have got big guns. And if we do get anywhere near them, they will shoot us dead.
Libera! Genova! Libera! Genova! Libera!
As we walked along the streets of Genoa, it came to a point where we were faced with a squad of carabinieri, paramilitary freaks. They lined up and they started shooting tear gas grenades, aiming straight at people's heads. And rumors are that because after that happened, all hell broke loose, and rumors has it that one guy was hit in the head by one of these tear gas grenades, and he's presumably dead. And another person was shot in the head with real ammunition, and then run over by a Land Rover, a police Land Rover. And that's the situation in Genoa right now.
you know. So we have decided that that kind of decision must stop. And the only way we can do that is by saying no loudly, by singing songs of protest, by demanding for a change. And I think that the processes are on. It is an unstoppable process until justice is done.